Good evening and welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. Again, we had a couple NFL tragedies to talk about this week. And as well, we've also had the 3 shootings over the past couple of weeks between Buffalo, the West Coast, and Uvalde, Texas. I want to do a moment of silence for everybody, and then I'll start the intro. All right, and once again, it is welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. I brought a few friends on with us. 2 are familiar faces, 1 you've never seen. I have Dan Leonard here repping his Detroit Lions and New York Giants. Excuse me. But we're going to talk about the NFC East, the state of the division, rank their players, stuff like that. And then we'll get into a little bit of Lions news afterwards and whatever comments y'all throw at us. I also have Detroit Dom of Sideline Sports.
Yo.
And I have Jake Dilling here. Tell us about your new podcast and where they can find you.
I started the podcast about a week ago. I got a few videos up. I'm on YouTube at The Roar with Jake D. Come check me out. Posted 2 videos. And it's going to be a lot more to come.
Fantastic. That being said, I'm going to go first to Dan Leonard and say, well, what do you think about the state of your franchise as of now, just before the mandatory OTAs start?
You know what? Half my receivers are hurt again. But other than that, I'm actually pretty positive on how my team's looking right now. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. Thibodeau's apparently showing everybody a whole new work ethic now. And Azeez Ojulari put on like 20 pounds of muscle and looks like a monster. The only thing that worries me is my cornerbacks. Other than that, I think you guys are going to be great this year.
All righty. Paul Jaros comes in and says, evening, Jeremy. It's the year the Lions put it together. I hope so. I'm stymieing that big chug-a-lug quart-sized KoolAid. Yeah.
It's summer, though. It's hot.
But I am drinking the 8-ounce glass once a week just to stay cool.
Not drinking those mega pints of KoolAid yet?
No, not yet.
Let's keep that pitcher full or full-ish all season.
The pitcher is full and in the fridge because if we start out any better than 3-2 in the first 5 games, I'm going to be chugging it.
Hey, that's the toughest stretch of the season right there.
It is the toughest stretch.
So...
And John Robinson says, just a big thanks to Smokin Jay and crew for letting us escape all the negativities currently going on in the country. Amen. I just thought it was respectful to do the moment of silence. But other than that, I really don't want to get into either side of any debate because politics and religion don't belong on sports talk.
Right. They don't. Yeah. We don't talk about those things.
Logan Erickson pops in and says, what's up, guys? Oh, we're going to talk about the NFC East. Dan just gave his assessment of his Giants. I'm going to take the Commanders just because I think it's the easiest one to do. You got Carson Wentz, who's a head case, who's going to be great one week and then look like a rookie that doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground the next. You've got a running back room that's by committee, but is the committee any good is yet to be seen. Antonio Gibson's great, but as a whole, it's not that solid yet. Their O-line, suspect. That's another reason why their quarterbacks tend to struggle. They don't have a lot of time in the pocket. I think they averaged 2.4 seconds last year, which isn't great.
And
I think they've lost a couple starters in the last couple off seasons.
Right, but they got a couple rookies, so
they lost Brandon Sharif, right?
Yeah, sure. Brandon Sharif. He went to the Jags, right?
Mm-hmm. I wanted him for like the last 4 years.
We all did, but that's another guy.
But it's fine. I like our O-line.
Stephen King says, "Evening, guys. All right, Dom and Jake, who wants to take on the Philly assessment?"
I'll take Philly.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Jake.
I actually like Philly. I think they're going to be a really tough team to beat this year. I actually have them as favorites to win the East. I mean, this is going to be second full year for Hurts as a starter. He got better as the season went on last year, but of course, you know, that offense is fueled with the run game. Miles Sanders should be back, and he's primed to have another good year. You know, and then you got Devontae Smith, second year. You know, he did really well last year as a rookie. They brought in Brown, and they in that trade in the first round, which was Brown's pretty good. He's going to definitely help Smith out.
That's definitely an upgrade over Rieger playing the two.
And Rieger actually got pushed out last year by Watkins. He was a 6th round pick, and he played better than Rieger. And he's going to be the third option for him this year. You know, so I mean, Hurts has got weapons, and then what's his name? Dallas Goedert. Goddard. I can't pronounce his dang name. But even him, you know, he's a solid tight end, good target. He had, I think, just around 800 yards last year as a tight end. So, I mean, he's got weapons. They got a solid old line, and you know, defense. They went and added Nakobe Dean, and if he's healthy, I think he'll be good. You know, and that defensive line is scary for him.
The verdict is still out on Dean on whether or not he'll make it back by midseason, let alone this season. So that's why a lot of teams passed on him. That's why he fell to where he did. And the Eagles were smart to grab him there, because if he can't help them this year, it'll help them next year.
Yeah, and he's a 3rd round pick. You know, it's not like he wasted a first on him. You know, so
they crushed their first round.
Yeah, they got Jordan Davis at a good spot at 13. So that's where I would have picked him. I know a lot of Lions fans wanted him, but not at 2. I wouldn't have wanted him at 2.
I said if we'd have taken that 4 and 10 trade and still got Thibs or Hutch at 4, and then able to take Jordan Davis at 10, that would be a win-win.
Oh yeah.
Instead, we just ended up with the best defensive player and the best offensive player in the whole draft.
That's
according to the experts. If you buy into the media hype, it is debatable.
Look,
if he'd have stayed healthy, I think Jameson Williams was the best wide receiver in that draft.
I won't say I forgot about him. I was just kind of looking past him.
Yeah.
Because I figured he wouldn't be there with the second pick. And I mean, clearly we were all shocked when we made that move. I saw
somebody pretend to be Brad Holmes. Ring.
Right.
Hey, I got a deal for you. You give me your 32nd and your 66th and your 34th. I'll give you back a 46 in the second, and you're going to move up 20 spots to 12 here in the first round. And all I want for compensation is the 66th pick.
Right. I was super iffy on that move, and then I looked at it and I'm like, we didn't give up shit for that.
Exactly.
Really.
I want to know why the Vikings hate their corners so much.
I think Brad Holmes said, yeah, we're going to take Willis there.
Right.
Oh, okay, we'll do this trade
then. I mean, if you think about it, though, outside,
because not only did they get
no one, I mean, and I'm sorry, Darnell Mooney, but you're not a 1. Outside of us, what do the Vikings corners have to be scared of? Alan Lazard?
Christian Watson.
Watson. Okay, Watson.
If he's good, I mean,
he'll be
good.
good.
Struggling with hard passes from the
up.
So
he'll be good. Rodgers just has to trust him.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's having a great freaking camp.
But
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has no one to blame but Aaron Rodgers for losing Davante Adams. And when he took that contract, I said, "Oh, now you're proving to me, Aaron Rodgers, that you don't give a shit about winning."
I don't know, because they still offered Adams even more money than he got with Vegas. He just didn't want to be there with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he got tired of the Aaron Rodgers antics.
He wants to play with Carr.
Imagine the most skilled quarterback in NFL history being such a dick that you leave. But I mean, Adams has been there these last several years and has seen what Aaron Rodgers can't do in the playoffs, and it's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna go live in Vegas and catch passes from my college quarterback.
Right.
For a boatload of money.
And his college football time roommate while there.
I've been waiting his whole career. Like, I'm still only 95% sold on Davante Adams. But Derek Carr is very, very good as well.
Yeah.
I want to see Davante Adams do what DeAndre Hopkins did.
All right.
Those shitty quarterbacks. Okay, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you got him, Dom. Your favorite team.
Well, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is approaching the
90.
Al Davis level of senility and bad contracts. Not so much bad draft picks, but bad contracts. You saw what happened with Amari Cooper. I mean, that team is good enough. Their O-line is not as good as it was. I expect Tony Pollard to outpace Ezekiel Elliott, speaking of bad contracts. I expect Tony Pollard to outpace Zeke in terms of touches and yards. Now we're going to get to see, I mean, when they drafted CeeDee Lamb, like, yeah, he was a steal where he was picked, but that was a big vote of no confidence for Amari Cooper. Like, why do you give a wide receiver, I mean, forget the stupid amount of money that you gave him, but how do you give him number one wide receiver money?
And then draft a number one wide receiver.
Right. And I'll be interested to see if Michael Gallup can stay healthy. Like, I don't think they miss much of a beat without Cooper. Their defense is above average.
The only thing I'm interested to see is if Trayvon Diggs gives up a higher QBR than he did last year.
That would be something to see, because he set the bar very high for himself. But I mean, it's Dak Prescott.
He's got to claim it down, and like, I know you want interceptions. I get that. You know, that really helps out your team.
But pass breakups help even more.
But you gotta,
giving up first downs helps the most.
You know,
he's not good at that. He's a rich man. He's Dre Bly 3.0. Dre Bly 2.0 was Marcus Peters.
Mm-hmm.
You can get all the interceptions on God's green earth if the rest of the time you're giving up bombs or just completed passes for first downs, like
chunk plays.
Sorry, but the Cowboys are the Cowboys. Speaking of more terrible contracts, Dak Prescott. You gave that much money to a guy, and like they screwed themselves by waiting so long. But
Ezekiel Elliott,
right? Until Dak Prescott can considerably improve his record against winning teams, like the Cowboys are good enough. They'll win more games than they'll lose. They might win the division. They'll probably make the playoffs, but we've seen what the Cowboys do in the playoffs this century.
They
win one game or none.
They need a better coach.
Yeah, that was a terrible hire. And it's funny because a few of my pretty good friends, I used to
but
hate.
He won a game in the playoffs.
I hate the Cowboys, and I hate most of their fans, but a couple of my really good friends are realistic Cowboys fans. So I feel bad for them about McCarthy and Dak.
Yeah. McCarthy's biggest problem was just before he was hired, he decided to have that sleepover party at Jerry Jones' place. It guaranteed he was getting the job because he came over and subbed in for Jason Garrett.
Well, my
You want
second
me to be the spoon daddy?
my second or third to last 30-day ban on Facebook was commenting live on a Sideline Sports show. I said someone needs to assassinate Jerry Jones, and then it got
Yeah.
removed.
Yeah.
I got banned, and I got a message from one of my bosses, and he was like, "You can't say that," and I'm like, "I forgot that that the
Right.
algorithm doesn't take into account sarcasm." Just like
Right.
the last ban I got, I said I would kill several people for another House of Crazies album.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe I would, but it's like, come on, Facebook.
Yeah, inciting
I've got a
violence.
target on my back.
Dom,
Anyways, moving
I
on.
got you. I got
Moving
you.
on. All right. So I'm going to start with Dan. Position values where you have the teams ranked with O-line in the East.
Ooh. I think us and Dallas are 1 and 1A. Philly still has a suspect O-line, and Washington lost their O-line.
Now I'm going to educate you because I
Philly-
just saw that Philly has the 4th ranked
I've
offensive
seen them
line.
as
Dallas has fell all the way to 8, and the Giants are just outside the top 10.
Yep.
So my ranking is Philly, Dallas, Giants, and way down the list, down there hovering with the Bears, is the Washington Commanders O-line.
I've seen a bunch of O-line ranking lists, and I've seen Detroit and Philly in the top 5 of all of them.
Yep,
Philly-
and the other two that are always in the top 5, and what switches for some reason is number 5 every time.
The
And
Bengals Chargers.
No, it was Browns and Chiefs.
Oh yeah, the Browns O-line is very, very good.
The Chiefs has been ranked 1, 2, 1, 3, and 1 through the 5 networks I've seen ranking.
Cincy, I'm not so sure how they've risen up that far.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same reason why Dallas went from 2 to 8 this year. Lyle Collins. That's the biggest thing. Lyle
That's fair.
Collins only gives up a
yeah.
sack every 378 snaps in his
That's
career.
Yeah, but what did he do the past 2 years?
He did the same thing, but he was hurt for a few games. That averages his entire career, is what I'm saying, is it averages out to 378 snaps between sacks. That's including last year.
Yeah, but I still Philly's got the best O-line in the East. Kelsey came back for another year. They actually got his replacement. They drafted him in the 2nd round.
Trevor Panning, right?
Yep. He'll be taking over for Kelsey next year. And I mean their line's solid. It's built for that run game. So,
Who's their left tackle?
what's that?
Who's their left tackle?
Who's left tackle?
Philly. Trying to remember who it is. I can't.
I know who it's not because he plays for the Bears and he was their best offensive lineman last year. That's Jason Peters.
I know. It's Andre Dillard. And they
Yeah.
didn't up his option because he's trash.
Where's my phone?
But
My dad comes in to bust my chops. He says, better late than never. You're absolutely right. But when you have to work till 7:38, you can't exactly get home from Saginaw and start.
Here's
on
what
time.
I want to know.
you just gotta drive faster.
Fuck that.
No, I don't. No, we don't do that.
When I was 20, maybe.
We like our insurance rates right where they're at.
Speed limits are suggested.
They are suggested.
I have an Audi. Jeremy's seen it. He hooked up some tires for me. Turbocharged. I have no idea how much faster than 105 it goes. That's as fast as I've ever gone and ever need or want to. I mean, if I get it like a racetrack.
I can't say I haven't traveled faster in cars I've owned before.
Oh, I have. Just saying now.
My
dad wasn't even really trying to go 100.
My dad says I was talking about myself, LOL. It's okay, Dad. I was late getting here too. Like I said, I got out at 7:38, had to stop, pay a bill, had to try to clean myself up a little bit. I think I failed, but
Do we know how active Jared Goff is or isn't on Twitter and other social media?
He is not very active from what I've seen. His Twitter account has had maybe 4 posts over the past 6 months.
Oh.
So he doesn't do a lot on there.
So I just need to put the same post up every single day saying, "Hey, Jared, what's your favorite sandwich?" And when he finally replies, he answers, "Why do you ask?" And I'll be like, "Because you'll be preparing it for yourself and eating half of it before you have to throw the ball."
Yeah. Okay. But we are all in agreement that Washington has the worst O-line there, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Washington.
It's funny.
I'm starting with the trenches.
Like you said, way down. Way down.
And my dad says I went 135 on my Gold Wing once. You're a brave man. on a motorcycle, that's brave.
Yeah.
But now we're going to rank the defensive trenches, the D-lines. If they play to their potential, I still think it's Washington at 1 and Dallas at 2. And then it's Giants. And then it's Giants Philly for 3A, 3B. Yes, they improved, but it's rookies and they're unproven. You can't give them the mantle yet.
What's his? They just got somebody back healthy too. The Eagles did. They got Fletcher Cox back also.
Right, but I'm just saying that on paper it looks like it's going to be great, but until it's proven, I'm not going to move somebody up just off of rookies.
Yes,
right.
They didn't even want Fletcher Cox.
Dad says, "Not brave, just drunk." Hey, now that's why I drove my car fast a lot in my 20s. Just so you know.
I plead the
fifth. Brandon Graham. That's who I'm thinking of.
John Robinson asked me a question. Unless Brad and Sheila gave Aaron Glenn one of the biggest coordinator raises, Aaron will be the next Cowboy coach stamp in June 18th, 46.
Nope.
PM. No. Remember? No, Aaron Glenn has turned down head coaching jobs because of what he said last year, and he's trying to stick to it. He actually said he wants to be the best defensive coordinator Detroit has ever had. So until we've won more than one playoff game,
yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I was.
He cannot take that moniker.
I was worried about him leaving. Yeah, I still kind of am, despite what he said.
Yeah, I'm still worried about him.
I'm still worried. I think the one that'll leave before him is Aubrey Pleasant.
If Aubrey Pleasant,
he can go ahead and leave.
Leaves, it'll be
get a coordinator job.
Yep. So, which
Jerry will pay, but you know what? D coordinator and head coaches, they make a lot of money no matter what team they play for, unless it's the Jags.
Right.
Yeah. Cheap bastards.
I mean, I hope what Aaron Glenn said is true, and to be honest, I kind of hope it takes a few years and we see continuity with Campbell and Aaron Glenn. Like I know he had several offers / interviews. I don't think he went on all of them. I just figured this time around would be. Actually, we talked about this before, and I can't remember.
Aaron Glenn actually did go, and he damn near offered him the job at Minnesota.
Who was our best DC ever?
It was whoever was with Wayne Fonts because they won a playoff game.
Right? Yeah.
We still never looked. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, we never looked. But that's where I'm at.
Most people were kids.
I just feel like
it was one.
Aaron Glenn is going to get more legitimate job offers sooner than Terrell Austin did, because Terrell Austin kept getting Rooney ruled. One year, I think he had like 6 or 7 interviews in the offseason.
And no one hired him.
Yeah, and the last 2 or 3 he canceled because he already knew what the deal was. And he's like, I'm not flying over there.
That's because they knew
I'm not really going to get.
They knew his wide 9 defense sucked.
Yep, and John Robinson says Jerry will pay.
No, that was Jim Schwartz's defense.
Well,
yes, it was.
He was the coordinator.
Terrell Austin?
Yeah.
I thought he was the coordinator with Caldwell.
Despite the record.
Yeah.
Despite the record, Jim Caldwell is the best coach we've had. Or no, not Caldwell. Schwartz. Not Caldwell. Best coach we've had since Cocaine Wayne.
more consistent play calling than what we had with Caldwell.
Caldwell was never the answer. He was a safe hire.
Yeah.
And if you remember, one of the other people that interviewed for the job in the same offseason that we hired Caldwell was Matt Patricia.
Yep.
And going back, I had said I wish we just hired Patricia then because the Patricia era would be further in the rear view.
Going back, I agree with W.G. Brady in 2018 that the Lions made a mistake not calling Dan Campbell for an interview. He wrote a big article, and it was all the reasons that were great for him to be a coach of the Detroit Lions. Then we hire him 3 years later. He took all those same points and turned them into negatives in an article how the Detroit Lions made a mistake hiring Campbell. I was like, and it's the same. It was literally all they did was they flipped all the positives to negatives. Instead of he managed to win 5 games with a terrible roster, he only won 5 games when he was the interim head coach out of 12.
This season pending, as long as we win at least, I can't even say 6. 6 is not enough anymore. It's my realistic ceiling. 7. At the end of the season, if we win 7 games, and if we don't, it's sadly it will be back to same old Lions because we'll be looking.
The only way we end up with only 6 wins is if we're derailed by injuries again. I've said this. If it's the injury bug, I get it.
It would have to be as bad as it was last year, though.
Right. Like we'd have to be one of the top 3 teams in injuries like we have been the last 3 years.
If Goff gets hurt, yeah, we're in trouble. And I heard this on the radio earlier, like, oh, they need to upgrade at, backup quarterback. And yeah, we do. But what team is going to win with backup quarterbacks?
Right.
Maybe I would say we have a better chance than most if the defense holds at all and we can just hand the ball.
And they run the ball.
Right.
All right. I got to go, y'all. I got to go to this stupid work meeting.
If you take care of your meeting.
If you're still on when I'm done, I'll be back.
Yeah, just pop in and see if we're here.
Cool.
All right, Dom. Thank you.
All right, man.
Sure.
See you.
Thank you. See you later.
Later, Dom. Hey, JB. I just want to comment real quick about the guy that commented about Aaron Glenn becoming a Cowboys coach.
Yeah.
The Cowboys' next coach is already on that staff.
Oh, it's Kellen Moore.
Exactly.
Yep. It's Kellen Moore. That's just why he didn't leave, and he hasn't left yet. Because he's been promised, just like they did with Jason Garrett.
Exactly.
Kellen Moore's a good play caller. He's just got to get a little. I mean, he did make some questionable play calls, but who doesn't?
But like actuality, the play call at the end of that playoff game when they lost was on McCarthy.
Was it?
Yep, he admitted to it. He just said they should have handed the ball to the ref instead of trying to hand it to the center. That was the big mistake in that play. And he's absolutely right. How can you be a seasoned 4-year vet quarterback and make a rookie mistake for handing the ball off?
Yeah. Can't do that.
Because that's what cost them.
No, can't do that. No, the Cowboys are going to be Cowboys are a good team. They're going to be tough.
Yep. Linebacker. Let's go with wide receiver rankings, top to bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Jake.
Dallas.
Who do you have?
Dallas, the Eagles, Giants, Washington.
Yeah, I'm kind of there.
The thing it's tough with the Eagles because I don't know exactly how good they're going to be. It all depends on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and it depends on which Jalen Hurts shows up.
And
if he starts like he did last year. Last year he started slow and didn't catch fire until that big running game where they whooped up on us. Which, if you look at all the games we truly got blowed out in, it was because the teams ran the ball.
Yep, they can run the ball against us. But yeah, Philly's got a good run game. The wide receivers, Dallas is good. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, freaking dog, man.
I know he is. I didn't say I'm not taking anything from him. I think CeeDee Lamb's great. I also said I wanted CeeDee Lamb instead of And that bum ass linebacker we took in the second round. But anyways. I wanted anybody than that bum ass linebacker we took in the second round that year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he tried hard.
Did he? Did he really?
I think so. I think he really tried hard. I just, you know, some people he just didn't have it.
And after he said about Bill Belichick being the best tight end coach the Lions ever had, he said him was fired with Tommy Hudspeth and staff. That is true.
You know, that was shoot, man, that was way back in the 70s.
But you're talking about the 70s here. Baltimore Colts and the 72 Dolphins won more games at their backup QB than they did with their starters. It was a different game then.
Yep.
That was Super Bowl III Colts. Yep, I get you. But you're talking about a different game then. Backup QBs are not like the starters they have today. Back then, there wasn't much of a drop-off going from a starting QB to a backup QB.
It was more in-your-face, smash-mouth football. Teams ran the ball more.
Larry Zonka, Franco Harris.
Yep. Good defense.
Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
Good defense and run the ball. Control the clock. That's what it was all about. It wasn't until Bill Walsh that you started seeing high-powered offenses, really.
That prick. Yeah, for the 49ers when he popped out the West Coast offense.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And thus brings us to the next position that I want to cover is linebackers. Oh, you haven't given your ranking yet, Dan. Go ahead.
It's over me, man. I see where I freaking rank now.
Well, it's hard to tell if you're paying attention.
Shit.
I can't see you.
Well, I'm cooking myself something to eat. I was hungry.
Hey, I hear you.
But anyway, I agree for the most part with what you guys said. Dallas, Philly at wide receiver, but only for their 1 and 2. Now, if we're talking the entire depth chart of wide receivers, if they can stay healthy, I think the Giants have the best group of talent of them all.
Yeah, well, as long as Galladay's on there, I won't agree with you.
Well, you know, I don't want but that's beside the point. You still got Sterling Shepard, who's one of the better possession receivers in the league. There he is. Go look at it. Can't stay healthy. It's why I said if they're healthy.
Hey, you guys did just get a new coach.
We got a new coach. We got who's our wide receivers? We got freaking Galladay, Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney, and we picked up that Wan'Dale Robinson kid.
Yeah,
be amazing.
Galladay won't play, so he'll get you a couple games, 2-3.
Galladay will play here once we get a new territory.
Let's hope he gets more touchdowns than last year because Taylor Decker had more touchdowns than Kenny Galladay last season.
He sure did. Man. But I think we're going to see a different Daniel Jones this year. He just seemed like the clock run out on his time. A lot's going to be depending on his development.
Yeah, and it's...
And who did the Giants just hire as head coach?
Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll.
Yeah, that's his name. He's going to need to get the best out of him. So,
and he can. He is a quarterback whisperer type of coach.
Well, I think he's good. I mean, look what he did with Josh Allen.
Tight ends. I think you got to go almost the exact same order again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas, Philly, Giants, Washington.
Yeah, Washington's just bad.
I'm getting there.
Jeez.
QBs. Well, this is the one where I'm borderline because I have 3A, 3B. I'm going to start at the bottom for myself. Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones are 3A and 3B. It doesn't matter which one you want to put where. They're both about the same mentality-wise so far. If the coaching does good with Daniel Jones, he'll go above Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz is a head case. Like I said, one game he's flawless. The next one, he looks like a rookie that can't find his ass with both hands on the map.
I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to go freaking say Daniel Jones is better than Jalen Hurts.
Hey, I will be right back. My 5-year-old is in.
I hear it. I hear it. Go ahead. Be a dad.
I'm going to be a homer and say Daniel Jones is better than Jalen Hurts. He just fumbled. That's the only
You're able to say that. That's fine. And Daniel Jones would be better than Jalen Hurts if he didn't fumble so damn much.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go there because touchdown to interception, they're about the same.
Mm-hmm. And I just don't like Jalen Hurts. I never did.
I know. I don't either, but that's another story.
That's because a little punk bitch left freaking Bama and went to freaking
But who do you like better, Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
I'm actually a big Dak Prescott fan.
I'm sorry.
God, everybody shits on that dude, but you look at it, how many freaking yards and touchdowns he has. He's statistically one of the better Dallas Cowboy quarterbacks ever.
Yeah, him and Tony Romo.
Dude, I hated Tony Romo when he was playing, but when you really look at it, Tony Romo was a good quarterback.
I know, he was. I said that.
Better than
My dad says, as a matter of fact, Shula wouldn't accept the Miami job if he couldn't bring his backup QB from the Colts with him.
Why do you know that?
My dad said that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, why does he know that?
Because he followed football back then like I do now.
I keep forgetting your dad's like 100.
Stop it.
I know. I just got busted balls a little bit once in a while, man. No. Ugh.
Last but not least, the secondaries.
We didn't talk linebackers.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk linebackers. I still think it's Cowboys, Philly, Giants, Washington.
I'll go Giants over. I'll go Giants over Philly just because Tibbs is now lining up at outside linebacker with Azeez Ojulari, and we got what's his freaking face? Crap, that rookie. What the hell's his name? I don't know. The freaking middle linebacker that we wanted the Lions to pick up. What the hell was his name?
Troy Anderson?
No. The other one, the later round guy.
Oh, Leo Chanel?
No. Hang on. I need
Chad Muma?
Chad Boba?
Hold on.
No.
No. We had freaking two guys.
Darren Beavers.
Beavers and the other one. Hang on. I'm loading it up here. Hang on. Where the hell is this guy? Come on, open up. What's his name?
See, I still think it would be better.
McFadden.
Oh, yeah, Micah McFadden, the late round guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
if the Giants played in Detroit, because then you could have Darren Beavers driving on Big Beaver Road.
they got Blake Martinez too. The Giants do.
Yeah, they did in the offseason.
Yeah.
No,
so
had Blake for 2 years, but he was hurt all last year.
Oh yeah.
So they got a solid linebacking core there.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants got a solid linebacking core if it works out on paper. But what's the rest of your rankings, Dan?
I go Dallas, Giants, Philly, Washington.
Yeah.
And I just reversed Philly and Giants on mine. What do you say, Jake?
Yeah, I got to agree with Dan here. Philly's linebackers, they're okay. They're okay. I don't think they're better than the Giants, though. I think the Giants got one up on them. They're not bad. I just think that the Giants have more talent. Cowboys definitely have more talent, especially with the addition of Micah Parsons. Jesus. But
don't remind me about that guy, okay?
I'm not going to say why exactly, but I'm glad he's not in Detroit. So.
Yep, same here.
I'm glad he's not in Detroit. Heck of a player. Not going to take anything away from the kid. Absolutely phenomenal. Lived up to the hype, more than the hype. So. But, the Eagles, they got, their best linebacker probably was Kazir White?
Last year.
So, he was good. Well, they picked him up in the offseason, so he's improved. But he would have been their best linebacker last year.
Who
And I think they got Hassan Reddick.
Mhm.
No.
So they picked him up in the offseason, so that should be a good upgrade for him. Drafted Jacoby Deed. He's going to be healthy late in the year. So
Reddick went back to the Titans, didn't he?
No, he signed with Philly.
yep.
Oh, fuck me.
That's why I put him above the Giants.
And they got TJ Edwards. He had 130 tackles last year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
a solid tackler.
Yep. Not sure how well he did in coverage. Look at his stats, but.
And my dad says it's just that the backup got screwed by Shula twice, and now I can't even remember his name, but I think it was Earl Merle. And yes, it was. It was Earl Merle. Because Paul Giroux says, I remember Earl Morrell with the Dolphins and the Lions, too.
Man, y'all are really starting to show your age.
I didn't know that guy from Adam. I was 2 when that stuff was going down, so I didn't know him. I'm just reading comments.
Hey, man. Look, my daughter's been telling me I'm old. I'm 32.
Hey, I told my dad when he turned 30, I said, so are you over the hill now?
I think that's 40, ain't it?
I said it when he turned 30.
So, but yeah, apparently I'm old. I was asked what it was like to make my own toys.
Ooh.
So
I'm like, how
Dad,
old do you think I am?
Dad actually returned the favor when I turned 30. So you're over the hill now, aren't you?
But no, Edwards wasn't bad in coverage. I guess he was he had 5 pass breakups and a pick. But
So the sun shined on a dog's ass and he actually caught one.
right. He did
That's
have
what that
a 78% completion percentage against him. So he's definitely more of a, like you said, he's a sure tackler, probably more of a run stuff and linebacker.
Right. He didn't have a lot of sacks, so I'd say he's more on that run stuffing side.
Yeah.
But he'll occasionally get pressure or have something happen in coverage, like every other run stuffing linebacker in the league.
Yep. Which is it really good for?
Really good in a passing league.
Yeah, not really good for him now. So, but
it's fine for like first and second down when most teams run, but on third down he probably shouldn't be on the field.
No, not at all.
Kind of like Anzalone.
Let's see, Washington's got. Heck, man, I'm looking at they don't even have anybody listed as an outside linebacker.
No, they got a bunch of DNs that play outside linebacker is what they got on that team.
Yeah. But I mean, they got Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like who?
Solid though.
Jamin Davis, I wanted him in that draft that year too. He looks solid, but I wasn't taking him in the first round.
He has a fucking horrible autograph, though.
He has I don't know. I kind of like Charles Harris's and Barry Sanders and Amon Ross. They're pretty flamboyant.
Amon Ross.
Yeah, the sun god. But yeah, let's see how Jamin Davis progresses year 1 to year 2. He had 78 tackles last year, so maybe he'll hop up there and
trying to get it so it doesn't white out the signature, but the light's too bright in here. It's a beautiful signature. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, I want to get up there. I want to get up there when they open it up to fans.
Yeah, try to get some then too.
Yeah, I want to go up there. Well, I got a Sewell jersey. I want to get it signed. So,
yeah. Jake Dilling and I were one of the ones that was calling it on the other Lions page we were on together as admins.
Yep.
And then you came on a little later than I was. I never stopped saying he was going to fall to 7, did I?
Well,
you got to a point where you were like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? About a couple, 3 months out, you thought that the Bengals were going to take him. And then I told you, I said, Joe Burrow's pounding the table for Jamar Chase. He wants his national championship wide receiver with him again.
He was. You know what? I still I still think that was a mistake.
In the long run, maybe.
And, yes, the Eagles went to a Super Bowl this year. Or not the Eagles.
The Bengals.
The Bengals went to the Super Bowl this year. But they were lucky that Burrow did not get hurt. He was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league last year. I think
it was a record-setting 70 sacks.
Was it?
70 sacks in the season.
But
he beat David Carr's record?
Yeah. David Carr had 68.
But, man, he's lucky. I mean, they gave up 9 sacks in a playoff game. You can't do that. And still won. They got extremely lucky. Extremely lucky.
Almost as lucky as we were the year that we went to face the Saints in the playoffs, because Stafford was sacked over 60 times that season too.
Yeah. We should have won that game.
That was the best. That was the best that Stafford played in the playoffs for Detroit.
The turning that year in that game was the Drew Brees fumble that they called back.
Yep.
And who was it who picked it up?
Van den Bosch.
He was gone.
He had a touchdown.
Nobody was going to touch him. I mean, there wasn't anybody, close within 30 yards. His arm was not going forward. That was not an incomplete pass. That was a fumble.
Right. He had just reached back. He never went forward.
Yeah, never went forward. He fumbled that ball. And that
wasn't it Averill that knocked it out and Van den Bosch recovered it?
Yep, it was Cliff Averill who knocked it out, and he was going to score, and that was going to be the turning point of that game because momentum, right?
Because that was halfway through the game, and we were kind of running neck and neck still.
Yep, and that right there, that touchdown would have gave us the lead, and Schwartz was the coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Schwartz wouldn't let off the gas.
Mm-mm.
That guy didn't have no break. He would have kept trying to destroy him because that's just how he was.
But at the same time, when they got into that little bit of cap hell, because that was just before the CBA changed and all the coaching salaries started hitting the dead cap of coaches we were still playing. Because remember, they used to be all lumped in one pool at one time.
Yep.
And so all those dead caps from Morningwig, from Mariucci, Marinelli, all of that finally compiled because they kept trying to kick it down the road. Well, it compiled, and that's why we lost a few players on defense, and we had to draft a couple to become studs. There was a reason why we fell down after the 2011 season, and that was it.
Yeah.
Hey, my Giants dealing with that right now with all our head coaches.
Yeah, the fact you guys were able to sign your rookies, kudos to you.
Well, the NFL, doesn't the NFL cover the rookie contracts?
They cover 90% of it. The 10% gets charged back to the team.
Yeah,
but still, that helps
a lot.
It helps a lot. But they weren't going to have enough unless they made some cuts, and Bradbury was the biggest one.
That's one that still irks me, man. The guy's one of the top. We had to let him go, and that is also the reason why Philly has the best secondary in the division.
Yep, I agree. That's where I was going. Is secondary. I got it. Philly, Dallas, Giants, Washington.
Oh, that secondary is still young in Philly, though.
Darius Slay and James Bradbury.
So
they have the most 26 points combined.
I know, but you look. The rest of them, they're pretty young. And Slay.
James Burgess says, you guys are talking about the Bradbury cut? Well, I'm going around the league, division by division, each week till the playoffs, or till the preseason starts. I started this week because then we end with the NFC North on the week before preseason. That's why I did it this way. And, I just wanted to talk about each team, their additions, their subtractions, the state of their franchise. I tried to get more than just a Giants fan with me. But I knew Dan would come in a heartbeat because he loves to talk football anyways, and he'll come on when we're just talking Lions football.
Facts.
But
I do, man. My core group of friends doesn't really talk football.
That being said, that's my ranking. Where are you at with it, Jake?
I got it Dallas, Philly, Giants, Commanders. Commanders.
So you just reverse the Dallas and Philly with mine. I got you.
Yep.
Dan, where are you at?
Every once in a while.
Yeah, it is okay to be wrong every once in a while. We've all done it. Where do you have it, Dan?
Sabres do. Up Philly, Dallas, Giants, Washington.
Yep. That being said, if you just go by that, I'm going to put windows and wins up there for each team. Dallas and Philly, it's 1A, 1B on who's going to win the division. I think both of those guys are going to get between 8 and 10 wins at least.
I got 20 on the Giants right now win the division. Take it.
There you go. What's the odds? Plus 3,000?
No fucking odds. I don't even look at it.
He's going on a limb and going homer.
Hey,
got it.
Every
I
year,
like being like a Lions fan today.
Every year, the Lions are winning in the North.
Yeah, I know.
Every offseason,
and every year, Dallas is winning it all.
Yeah. I mean,
when you want to talk about homer,
but
James Burgess, that's exactly it. Just got in. That was a cap thing. You guys seem to know. It wasn't a New York Giant doesn't like him thing. It was business, and that's all. Absolutely, the fans hated it, but they understand it.
Yep.
And Joe Schoen tried to avoid it at all.
Oh yeah, they tried to trade away Saquon Barkley. They tried to trade away Kadarius Toney. They tried to trade away Slayton just to clear enough cap where they wouldn't have to cut them. And no one bit, so they had to cut them just to clear cap so they could sign their rookies.
Yeah.
They could have traded Kadarius Toney. They could have traded him to the CFL for a can of popcorn.
He's just so he's small.
I don't mind small receivers.
He is the real Hakeem Grant of last year's draft, is what I saw. He's a great returner. He's a good gadget player, but he's so tiny you can't help it. He's going to get hurt.
Yeah. You know, and there's nothing wrong with small receivers if they can stay healthy.
Right.
That's the thing. You got to be able to stay healthy. I mean, yeah, you're going to get nicked up throughout the season. But if you're missing half a season, 3/4 of a season, you can't have that.
Pulling a Galladay.
Yeah, pulling a Galladay. Oh, my toe hurts.
When the veteran wide receivers teach the rookies that you got a problem.
Yep, exactly. I mean, he's following in suit after his mentor.
Yep. And my thing is, if Galladay played on a better team, he'd probably play hurt. He'd probably play more games.
He had the 1 year that he played, what was it? He played 14 of the 16 games and was a top receiver that year. Everybody says, no, he wasn't. I said he tied for the most touchdowns with 11.
Yeah, he was.
How much? He had over 1,000 yards receiving. And a lot of it was Stafford, because Stafford refuses to lay down and die because he had 6 of them by week 8, and he got 5 in the last 8 weeks.
Stafford was a fighter, and Detroit screwed the pooch with that one, man. They dropped the ball big time without
they tried
the right way.
You can't say that the 2 previous GMs didn't try to address O-line to try and fix it for Stafford. Yeah. They just made some bonehead free agency moves and re-signing moves that didn't make sense. The drafting they did actually pretty good at, because look, Giant, right?
What's that? You broke up.
Is Laken Tomlinson a Giant now, or is he a Jet?
Last I knew, he was in San Francisco.
No, they let him go in the offseason.
Did they?
Yeah.
I must have missed that. But I don't know. He's good, though. He's a Pro Bowler, too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He was a Pro Bowler that was drafted by Mayhew.
He's
Mayhew just needed to get away from drafting D linemen all the time.
Well, Sue and Fairley was great. It was the fact of they were so good that when it came time to re-sign them, you had to re-sign one of them, not let them both go.
Yeah. Well, Sue didn't want to be in Detroit anyway.
Yeah, but if you think about it, $327,000 when you're going to Florida to Miami, that's a $1.1 million raise versus playing for the same amount of money in Detroit. So and they had the cap room at the time. If they'd have made it $1.2 million more per year, he probably would. He may have stayed because it's making more money than he would have there take home.
But
That's what I'm getting at.
well, then again, they don't have state taxes either. So
Right. That's why the no
And
state
the weather-
taxes.
and the
with
weather's nicer.
Oh yeah, but we play in a dome, so that's not the issue.
Well, no,
'Cause
but
remember they still went to Green Bay that year, and he did stomp on Aaron Rodgers, and he did get in trouble with Dan Campbell, and he said Dan Campbell was his favorite coach because he wasn't afraid to tell him like it is, put him in his place, and make him grow up.
well, he's just as big as they are. He can yell at them.
I know he still
know-
looks like he can play.
Heck, man. He's and you know what? Campbell's country strong, man. The dude grew up on a cattle ranch.
The what
You don't think
impressed
he
me
wrestled
last
Campbell?
year was when he was doing the 40 up downs to start the OTAs with the team.
Right. Like, I bet. Hey, I bet you spent one of the practices with him. I bet you that dude's probably freaking insane there.
Yeah, I'd love to go to the practices just to see how he is with the team. I want to be close enough I can hear it.
Right. Well, what I hear, this is a description I seen of him. He's part wrestler, part meathead, and part dad, and you almost want him to call you up and tell you he's proud of you.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm still trying to clean up all the tire gunk from off my hands and arms because this is what I look like every night.
I know how that goes. And my cousin just started a mobile tire service here in Battle Creek called Retire. So driving around and, people at work or whatever want a flat tire, come change your tires.
Wow. Paul Jaros comes in and says the Tigers win again, 5-0. So that's 2 out of the 3 versus the Twins.
That's not bad.
That's impressive, actually, because usually the Twins take our lunch money.
Everybody's been taking their lunch money lately.
Well, they had a lot of injuries. There's some people coming back, and they're starting to play a little better.
Riley Green is in Toledo playing.
Yep.
So,
Torkelson been in and out of the lineup due to injury. Andy's been struggling as Green was out. Yep.
If Green can come on and play like he was in the spring, he's going to be a problem.
The only signing I didn't like this offseason was the starting pitcher we got. Eduardo, whatever.
Rodriguez.
He didn't impress me. It didn't move the needle for me. I was like, so they got a middling starting pitcher that, when he's good, he's really good. But if he's bad, he's really bad. There is no in between with him. He's inconsistent.
Baez has been kind of up and down, but he's kind of always been up and down.
He's a streaky player that strikes out a lot because he's aggressive at the plate.
Yep.
He's had over 200 strikeouts his entire career every season.
He hit 2 big home runs early on in the season for the Tigers.
Yes, he did.
So
I'm not saying it's not that he doesn't have power.
Right.
He's close, but not as good defensively as Iglesias.
Yeah.
He shows that star quality every now and then, but then every now and then you watch him go, wow, he missed that.
Yep.
But Iglesias kind of did the same thing.
Let's get back to
football. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to hear it.
NFC East.
Who's winning the
Who's
NFC
winning
East?
the NFC East? I mean, we already know it. I'm sorry, Dan. It's between the Eagles and the boys.
I think the Eagles got a good shot to upset the Cowboys. I just see a lot of. I see where they're at that point.
I think you're both wrong.
I know what you think, you homer.
You know what?
Okay, I remember when I was on 82, guys.
Don't be surprised if the Giants come out of nowhere. They could.
Daniel
Jones might decide.
Daniel Jones finally bends over, grabs his ears, pulls them real hard, and makes a loud popping noise.
Yep.
He might be able to turn around his career.
Yep. So.
And James Burgess.
Hey, he's the fastest quarterback in the
He
NFL.
says Dallas, if they use the right plan on offense, more Pollard and less Ezekiel Elliott has a puncher's chance. Yes, they do. And NFC East, if Hurts becomes a real QB, I don't expect that actually. They will be nasty. Redskins, no chance. They are no Commanders.
The Eagles season definitely hinges on Hurts' development. He's going to make that jump in his second year as a full-time starter. How is what has he worked on this offseason? What's Sirianni going to come up with?
Like I said, I had Dallas and Philly in that 8 to 10 win range just because they're in the NFC East. So they play each other twice.
Yep.
So one of them is going to sweep somebody and split with everybody else, and that's the same for both teams, is what I see. And I'm not saying it's the Giants. I'm not, but more than likely it's the Commanders that both teams sweep. Just saying, I think all three teams sweep the Commanders
all
this
three
year.
teams might sweep them. I don't
And
know.
then it's
They
gonna
might sneak one out.
and then it's going to become to their strength of off-season schedule. And I think it's funny. The Lions have the fifth weakest schedule in the league, but all four of the NFC East teams are the ones behind them from 29 through 32.
Yep. The Eagles, I think, what is it?
Eagles are right behind Detroit because
48%. The teams they play next year is like at a combined win percentage of like 48%. You know, they only face a few teams that had a winning record from last season.
Whereas ours is like 48.7. It's only like 7% higher.
Yep. So,
you know what?
Yeah,
Eagles have Jalen Hurts, and he's the poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Jason Burgess also says New York Giants doesn't have a schedule handy, but they are too young to win it all, and I don't think Jones has it. But second half they will be better and might be kingmakers as spoilers. I see that too. Like I said, I see 8 to 10 wins for either one, Dallas or Philly. One of them will be 1A, one will be 1B for that division. I think the Giants come in third, and I see them improving, but I don't see them making that leap. They're in that 6 to 8 win range is what I see looking at the schedule. The Commanders, if they're not picking in the top 5, then somebody slept on Antonio Gibson, because that's their real Antonio Gibson and Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Because that's all they really got.
You're not wrong. McLaurin, is that how you say his name? McLaurin?
Who's that?
The receiver for Washington?
Yeah, Terry McLaurin. That's what I'm talking about. Scary Terry.
That kid's man, he's good. He's good. He's fast. He's got good hands, runs a good route.
Yeah, it's just that he doesn't have a real quarterback throwing to him is his problem.
Right, yeah, never has. They're going to draft a quarterback next year.
I actually love Taylor.
They didn't.
And James Burgess just said what Jeremy just said, pretty much my thinking. I mean,
yeah,
I don't see either one of those teams getting more than 10 wins. It's just because even though it's a weak schedule, it's their out-of-conference schedule that hurts them. The Vikings tend to play Philly and Dallas strong. Packers always play them strong. They got to face both of them. They face us. And yes, they're at home. And we should lose on paper. But for some reason, ever since that wild card game, the Lions have kind of been coming up in Dallas.
Yeah, I told you what's happening.
It's going to be a hard game on the road.
It's a hard game on the road. I'm not saying they'll win. I'm just going over the past 10 years. If you look at it, they actually have a winning record against Dallas. They have a 50-50 record against Green Bay.
Yeah, they've done well against Green, especially against Green Bay.
The last 10 games I'm talking about where they faced each other. It's 10 years with Dallas and 10 games with Green Bay, excuse me.
Right.
Minnesota and Bears have both had the Lions numbers for some reason, and that's why we can't ever get out of the basement. This is the year we jump the Bears hurdle.
All right. You heard me in a video. I have no respect for the Bears. They have no weapons for Fields. They have a suspect O-line.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney is not a number one receiver, even though he had number one numbers last year. Yeah. But that was because it was Andy Dalton.
Right. And then they go and they got a new head coach, new coaching staff. I just don't see them being very good. They're going to be worse than last year. Fields isn't the guy, and it's not his fault. I don't think it's his fault. I think Fields could be a good player. I think it's just the Bears.
Off-season wise, in the NFC North, where do you rank them 1 through 4?
Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
See, and I'm just the opposite on the Vikings. I think we had a better offseason than they had.
You had a better offseason than freaking the Packers had too.
Well, you're talking about just off-season moves?
Just off-season moves.
Just off-season moves? Lions. Packers, Vikings, Bears.
Yep, that's the list I got it.
Yeah.
I got the Packers in second because they did make some offseason moves that improved their roster, but they did a couple that hindered their roster. Then their draft, they kind of addressed it. Christian Watson could be a stud. I just don't see it. I look at what he did with Trey Lance. If you look at his 2 years with Trey Lance and his 1 year with the quarterback with a weaker arm, it's like the difference of going from Matt Stafford to Jared Goff is what I'm saying. In those first 2 years, he averaged 18.2% drops.
Yep.
The 1 year was 24, and the next year was like over 12. The last year that he played with a weaker arm quarterback, he dropped to 5%. That's still an average of 12 overall.
Yep.
Well,
I did the math. I just did the math, and I was like, is it because he got better? And then you watch the games, and it's like lofty floating balls. It was kind of like watching Tua trying to throw the ball deep to Devonta Smith or Tyreek Hill, I mean.
As long as Rodgers is the quarterback in Green Bay, with or without Devontae Adams, they're going to be, favorites. So,
You got the corpse of Randall Cobb that doesn't get the yak like he used to.
But we'll see.
And he doesn't return kicks like he used to.
No.
They got Robert tight ends.
Yeah, they still got Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, Tonyan's he's not bad.
I'd say he's a top 15 tight end in the league.
He's Dawson Knox in my mind.
Yeah. So.
But who else do they have? They lost Lazard and Isabella, right?
Isabella is a Cardinal. They lost MVS, Valdez Scantling. He went to the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They lost Equanimus St. Brown, but that was like their fifth or sixth option, so that's not like they lost a lot there.
I mean, did they really lose a guy?
Right, exactly. He's a guy that came in and dropped more than he caught.
Oh.
You know which one of the heads of that family?
But
I showed you that video last year, Dad, after the draft from the OTAs when you came on about Amon-Ra working out with the jugs machine.
Uh-huh.
He was a beast. 100 in each hand, one-handed from 5 yards away from the jugs machine.
That's hard to do.
You know who else?
Hard.
It's hard to do. I do that every morning. That's like my morning routine.
Oh, okay. I want a video.
My morning routine. I just catch balls all day.
So. Hey, I grab jugs about 100 times a day.
Hey, your wife don't count.
They absolutely count. Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Just kidding.
But yeah, the NFC East is definitely going to be a battle at the top.
All right, and now we're going to get to some NFL news, and then we'll get to some Lions talk. NFL news, no more Pro Bowl, possibly? Hallelujah, that game is a joke.
Yeah, they need to make it skills competition.
Skills competition, they need to bring that back. That was the best.
Yeah, the skills competition was the best part of the Pro Bowl weekend. They need to make it a skills competition. And if they want to do a Pro Bowl, let's take it back to what it was pre-Super Bowl. It used to be whoever was the champion of the league had to play the best 53 men off of all the other teams combined.
Oh, well, I didn't know they used to do that. I don't know. Maybe do 7 on do 7 on 7.
They should make deep passes.
Or they could make it a pro-am event and get some celebrities in there and make it flag football like it already is.
Yeah.
And make it an actual fun game to watch.
Yeah, people would watch it. See Will Smith out there slapping people.
Hey, with that kind of slap that guy has, you'd be a great cornerback deflecting passes.
Right.
James Burgess, by the way, with the recent draft stuff, Dallas and Washington might not like starting in 2023. You're right. Because if Dan Snyder gets convicted of what he's been accused of by Congress,
he just needs to sell.
They're going to take the team.
Oh, I know.
That's what I see happening. The NFL is just going to come in. That's contract detrimental to the Shield. You cheated us out of money. You cheated the league out of money. You cheated other owners out of money. You're done.
Yep.
If it gets proved. I think they'll end up losing all their draft picks that year.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
be
gonna
like
be.
that year when the first 4 rounds was pulled again for Spygate. Wasn't that Spygate that happened?
Yes, but if they take the team from him, I don't see the new owner getting penalized with no draft picks.
Right, yeah, I don't see the new owner getting penalized. If Dayton Snyder holds on to the team, they most definitely will be penalized. And so,
There's no way in hell.
Snyder is doomed. James
But
Burgess
they-
says 100%. And you know what? If they get a new owner, guess who I think it is?
Who's that?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff
And the
Bezos.
team, and the team may end up going all the way to Albuquerque once the contract is done with that new stadium they're building.
If not before, he may just buy it out.
Right.
But you got that happened there. Plus, with what happened down in Miami, they might end up losing their franchise too.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it just depends. Yep, but
If it's proven that they were trying to pay Flores to lose because they wanted Joe Burrow and he refused to coach them to lose, that's why they won a few games and ended up with Tua.
Yeah.
You know what? He should kick himself in the ass. I would have taken the L's and got Joe Burrow personally. The ends justify the means, man. Like Eddie Guerrero said, lie, cheat, and steal. As long
All
as
right. I got to get off of here. Sounds like there's Royal Rumble upstairs. I got to go handle these kids. So.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jake. And don't forget to check out The Roar with Jake D. He is on YouTube, and I believe he has a Facebook page that's coming up too.
Yeah, it's just now getting started. So.
Yep. Well, thanks again for coming on, buddy. It was good to talk with you.
Right.
I just love talking football. Next week, I'm going to be covering the AFC East, which is the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Jaguars.
Oh, Bills are winning it.
I have that feeling too.
All right. It's good talking to you guys. I'll see you.
Yep. And then you got the little bit of Lions news. The Lions picked up defensive tackle that was waived by the Falcons, John Kaminsky, which makes that defensive tackle room very full. And I think that goes to possibly Austin Bryant or Jashawn Cornell being off the roster. Because if he does well in the mandatory OTAs and in preseason coming up, he may take their place.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if either one of them gets hurt this preseason, as has happened the last 2 years.
You're not wrong.
And because they're on rookie contracts, that doesn't mean they'll be off the team. It means they'll be sent down to the practice squad.
Yeah, I agree, man.
And James Burgess says +1 on the signing of Kaminsky. In other words, you think I'm on point with what I said there?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
I mean, James Burgess, because his comment.
I don't even know who that guy is.
He's one of my viewers, and he's been very loyal, just like John Robinson, just like Daniel Sims, just like you are when you're not on the show.
I watch so I can bust balls, bro. You know that.
I know that. And he agrees 100%.
Especially when that one dirty whore's on here.
And now that that's done, we got this 4-week window when it's just going to be a lot of washing. And there was a clickbaitsports.com article from a picture of Aiden Hutchinson with his family. And because his sister rested her hand on his belly just below his heart,
Really?
said that is the reason Aiden Hutchinson isn't dating is because he's dating his sister.
Is his sister hot at least?
Miss Michigan this year.
Fuck it.
Now I know you're from the outside the Appalachians.
I'm from Jersey originally, man, but
I know I'm just joking with you.
Well, actually, you know what? I've seen a bunch of people from Michigan. That's really not saying all that much.
I think his mom is even hotter than she is, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, his mom's on like Zach Wilson's mom's level.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still on that 6 to 9 wins tops for the Lions. I still think it's going to be 10, 11 wins. I don't think they're going to get 13, the Packers, this year. I think
the Packers will get 13. Who the hell?
No, I don't think they're getting 13 like they have the last 2 seasons. I think they're getting 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah, maybe. If that. I don't think they did enough to address that team. Yeah, what are they at? Quez Watkins?
Christian Watson and Sammy Watkins. Linebacker, they had a Quay Walker.
Yeah, Quay Walker, that was it.
A guy that was considered a late second round, possibly an early third round pick.
Yeah, I still won't put much stock in any of those things where people say where people should go.
And
they said N'Kobe Dean was a first round pick. He's
right.
a third pick. They said Malik Willis was a top 5 pick. He was picked in what, third?
Third round. Desmond Ridder, who was supposed to be a late first rounder, third round pick. 7 other teams wanted him, talking about Kaminsky. He ain't going jobless. We might as well take first look. I agree.
I don't think it had anything to do with first look. It's just the fact that he was on waivers, and the Lions had a higher pick on waivers.
And it doesn't help that his former teammate, Charles Harris, had success here.
Oh, JB, you have that thing?
Yeah, I was trying to load it, but if I give me a minute, I'll get it in here.
Okay, man. I just remember it was like, oh yeah, you got that.
I charge my phone so I can do it. So just bear with me. I got to log in on my phone too.
Mm-hmm. What the horrible things you see on Facebook daily. JB, can I shamelessly plug something?
Absolutely.
Everybody that's into sports memorabilia, go check out LDA Breaks. Mention the show. Get a 10% discount on one of my breaks. And go check out Pro Sports Zone. It's there I believe it's in Lansing. But it's run by a guy named John Yu. He's got a ton of stuff there, and he gets all the signings right there. That's where On Raw was last week. And a heads up for everybody else, they have a Hutchinson signing coming up at the end of August.
All right. I told you, everybody, I'd have a surprise from Saturday. I'm waiting for it to load on this side, too. There it goes. All right. Well, while I was there, I got some info from Charles Harris, and I talked to him for quite a bit. Asked his opinions on a couple things, but he did something for me that I consider pretty special. Here it is. I wanted all my fans to see it.
Everyone's Charles Harris here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
I had no sound.
You had no sound?
Yeah, I had no sound on that.
I wonder if it's because I got my in just a second. Every now and then that screws it up.
Everyone's Charles Harris here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
Did that make it any better?
No, I still got nothing, man.
I heard it on my end. It's just not coming through for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe because I just loaded it and it's got to be on there 4 hours or something.
Mm-hmm. I told you Amani Warrior signing next month, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I remember to tell you.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to you after the show about that. The other thing I wanted to address is I got a juicy bit of information about last year. No, it didn't come from Charles Harris. And Michael Huck said I heard it, and so did Paul Jaros.
Maybe it's just because I'm on the show.
But we are going with a system that is down dependent. If he can contribute, it's worth a look. Paul Jaros also said he didn't fit in with Atlanta's 4-3. I thought it was pretty awesome that Charles Harris came in and said He flubbed the name, but he did it for free. I offered to pay him for it, and he told me, "No, dog, I got you. You're fun to talk to," because he had about 15 to 20 minutes there where no one was around. But I have from an undisclosed source, totally separate from this, the rift between Lynn and Goff was real. And the main thing is that Lynn wanted Tyrod Taylor and not Goff. So he was calling plays that was not conducive to Goff's strengths. Kind of like when McVay started doing that after Goff said he wanted to pipe his girlfriend.
Oh, JB, you forgot the other piece about Anthony Lynn wearing women's underwear.
Well, you weren't supposed to talk about that. That's personal stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yes. He likes doing his best impression of Dr. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
With his butt floss.
That being said, it has been a great night. I'm glad everybody stopped in, checked out what I had to say about the NFC East, a little bit of news about the North. Rest in peace to Jeff Gladney. It's a horrible thing when a 26-year-old man dies in a car accident and his woman too. Still no word as to who was driving. So we don't know if Gladney was driving or she was driving. That has not been released. But the fact that they both died and then the injuries with the other car, that's a sad, sad story. And then to find out that Marion Barber was found this afternoon in his apartment, passed away, and no cause of death has been announced yet.
On that Gladney thing, from what the security guard that was the first person on site,
yeah,
he said that he was driving.
Okay. I'm just saying there has been no official report of that yet, is what I'm saying. James Burgess says, thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure doing Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. I will have another show Friday night at 8, barring whether or not I get out and work on time. You know how that goes. But I do shoot for 8 o'clock for my shows because I think it's a good slot because there's not a lot of people being on at 8.
I know.
James Burgess says, fun stuff as always. We'll be back. That's both a promise and a threat. LOL. Oh, love it. All right. So till Friday, remember, if you can't do anything other than this, please just be a better person than you were the day before, and the world will be a better place. This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. And next Wednesday, I will be covering the AFC East. That's the Bills, the Pats, the Jets, and the Jags. And James Burgess says, amen, Jeremy. Well, if you're able to be on, you can be on, Dan.
I know. I'm just trying to pick what team I want to root for.
You're close enough to the Patriots, but you probably are like, fuck them guys.
No, everybody would think that. I love the Patriots. I love Bill Belichick. Legitimately my favorite coach there is. I don't care if freaking Spygate, cheap, none of this shit. Dude's still one of the best coaches ever, if not the best coach ever.
And the Roar with Jake D said, thanks for having me on, guys. I definitely will be coming back. It was glad to have you. It was good to talk some football with you, Jake. Friday's show will be more about Lions, so if you want to come in then, just shoot me a message. That being said, good night, everybody.